You're listening to Animal Tracks, brought to you by the American Veterinary Medical Association. I'm Michael Sanfilippo. This is the final week of Adopt a Cat Month, a month in which several organizations, including the AVMA, hope to promote the benefits of having a cat or cats in the house and encourage responsible adoption and ownership to mitigate the problem of overpopulation. So far, we've talked about the joys and benefits of cat ownership, tips on selecting the perfect cat, and how to prepare your home for a new cat. This week, we'll be discussing the benefits of adopting 2 cats instead of just 1. We're joined again by Dr. Jane Brunt, Executive Director of the Catalyst Council and owner and director of the Cat Hospital at Towson in Baltimore. Dr. Brunt, welcome back to Animal Tracks. You've said in the past that people thinking about adopting a cat should consider taking home 2. Why do you feel this way?
It's so helpful for cats to have pals to hang around with. They keep each other entertained. Their activity level is increased because, after all, they have another cat pal with which to interact, and exercise is so important. So it's good for them. It's good for you. You get to watch them do their own kinds of fun things. And I mean, if you just think about the population, if everybody adopted 2 cats instead of just 1, not only would you be helping the cat and yourself, but you'd be lowering the shelter population. You'd be doubling how many cats get to go into a permanent home. So we definitely recommend that.
What would you say to somebody who is planning on adopting a cat but says they're just not ready for the responsibility of 2 cats?
Well, I think it's important for everyone to consider their own needs and their own limitations. It would be good to talk with a shelter adoption representative and talk to them about what exactly they would need to expect. Because a lot of times they don't know that, it really isn't that much more difficult to have a second cat around. Yes, you need an extra litter box in a different location, and probably they'll be eating twice as much, but, cats don't eat a whole heck of a lot. So it's important to, think about the limitations. It's also necessary for both of them to receive their wellness health care. So making sure that you can provide for them, for their health, for their parasite prevention, for their regular routine checkups and visits to the veterinarian at least once a year. So it is important for somebody to take a good hard look and see what's best for them. But in many cases, it's not that much harder to have a second one.
What are some ways to make sure that my cats get along when I bring them home?
Well, the best thing to do would be to adopt 2 that are already introduced to each other. Perhaps they are litter mates, or maybe they were, as adults, relinquished to the shelter together. And the shelter professionals can tell you the background on the cats in many, many cases. So having them be already acquainted when you're bringing 2 home is very, very helpful. If you don't, or for example, if you already have a cat at home and you're bringing home a second cat to be a pal, the 3 things that you want to remember in order are scent, sight, and contact. So bringing a new cat home, for example, into your house and you already have a cat, you would keep them separated and give them a chance to know just by smelling the area that there's another cat here. And once they're not stressed with having the other cat's scent around, then you can let them see each other. Always chaperoned, of course. Maybe put a screen between in the doorway where the 2 cats are separated, or short contacts of visual exposure to each other. And once they're accustomed to seeing each other, then the 3rd thing you do is want to start to increase the contact with the cats. But a gradual introduction. Now, some cats will do it very quickly, within maybe even a few days. Other cats might take a few weeks. So just be mindful of introducing a new cat, scent, sight, and contact, and then gradually make that introduction. And always you want to have separate resources for them. Their litter box in different locations, and feeding them in separate locations, not right next to each other. It gives them their own space.
What about age differential? If I have an older cat who's used to being alone in my house, would bringing a kitten or a younger cat into the house be disruptive, or could it actually be beneficial?
So you're thinking about adding a cat to your family when you already have a cat, and maybe it's getting older and you're worried about bringing a new cat in. Is that going to upset your cat? Or maybe you thought, no way, I don't want to have another cat in my household. Well, Mittens is getting older, and I'll just wait till she passes on. But in reality, I've seen so many households benefit, and the older cat just benefits by having a new companion in the household. And that's an ideal time to think about getting potentially two kittens, so they have each other to play with, and they could interact with each other, and less so with the older cat if the older cat didn't want to. And really the time to start thinking about adding to your feline family is not when Mittens or your geriatric senior cat is very old, but maybe when Mittens is 6 or 7, and before you start to have to think about many of those senior problems, so that there's a good long lifetime together. So just because you have an older cat, certainly consider getting some more feline companions for that aging feline friend.
Dr. Brunt, thanks so much for speaking with us again. For more resources on cats and cat ownership, visit the Catalyst Council's website at catalystcouncil.org or the AVMA's website at avma.org/catsrule. For AVMA Animal Tracks, I'm Michael Sanfilippo. Thanks for listening and have a great day.